Alright, hello, this is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've been going over the online PDF AppInventor2 Create Your Own Android Apps by Wolber, Abelson, Spertus, and Looney. We're almost to the end of Chapter 9, and what is shown on the screen right now is how the playback is going to be implemented. And what I want to show you, kind of the cool thing about this, is right here. Notice we're going to create our own procedure called playback note. And the last thing that we do in there is we call playback note. So it's really, as they mentioned on the bottom of the page, it's the first time you've seen a procedure make a call to itself. All right. And it's an important and it's a useful topic. It's known as recursion when a program calls itself. I'm going to deviate from the way I usually do this just a little bit here. I wish I wouldn't have done that because I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say I don't know what I clicked. All right. But if you've ever seen anything like this, if you've ever done any work with math types of stuff, you might have seen something like this, like 10 factorial. And what 10 factorial is equal to is it's 10 times 9 times 8, 8 times 7 times 6 times 5. You get the idea, I think. Times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And I don't know what that number is. I don't really care. It's a pretty big number. But when you start to break this down, what you realize is really what 10 factorial is it's the same as, it's equal to 10 times 9 factorial. All right, and when you break that down, 9 factorial is equal to 9 times 8 factorial. And as you can see, you keep breaking it down and breaking it down and breaking it down. This is what recursion is all about. You give yourself basically what's known as a base case, and you try to come up with an elegant solution where a routine can call itself, and it ends up doing less work every time. And when that happens, recursion can be a nice thing. The problem with recursion, and I don't want to get into this because that's not what these tapes are about, is that every time a method calls itself, what basically has to happen is the method has to make a copy of all its variables and every kind of take a snapshot of itself and put it there in memory. That's one problem. The other problem is if you don't give yourself a way out of recursion, it's going to go into an infinite loop and it can consume all of your resources very quickly. But this is one time when recursion is used. Another one is if you've ever heard of the Fibonacci number system. All right. It goes like this. It goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. I'll put down about 10 or 15 of these. 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 143, and we'll do one more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. 232, 375. What is that? They said I would do 15. 1, 2, 3. I think it actually starts with 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. The pattern is this, though. What you always want to do is you want to add the two numbers together to start with, and that gives you the third number. You add the second and third number together, and it gives you the fourth number. You add the third and fourth number together, and it gives you the fifth number. You add the fourth and fifth number together, it gives you the sixth number. And you can see, boom, 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 boom. What this started with, I believe, was some kind of a scientific experiment with breeding rabbits and exactly the number. You know, there's other ways that this can be used too. All right? But those are probably two of the ways that you see most often as far as what's used for that. So let's come in. I think this is a brand new variable here. Launch the starter program on your computer. That's not a good sign, because the starter program was launched. It's right there. So I am going to try to stop it and start it again just in case. Sometimes this works. All right, so we've launched the starter program again. And I'm not going to do anything else for right now, but I'm just going to leave it right there. So I want to go back into my blocks editor, and let's go and collapse a lot of this stuff that we've got in here. We're going to need to work with play note, and we're going to need to work with a new playback note. All right, so we will move this up just a little bit. In this one, we will again collapse because we're going to put a new method right down here in just a minute. So we want to add a new variable, and that variable is called count. And we want to initialize count, global count, to 0. All right. Now, notice in here in our play button click routine, and I guess that's what we need here. We don't really need the play note because we're going to make a playback note. So we can collapse this. All right. But what we want is in our play button click routine, we're going to have to call this. So where is our play button? So I don't see it in here unless I'm just missing it. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C note, global reset. So I don't see it in here. All right, so I'm going to put the play button right here. And what do we want to do? Well, we want to put an if-then statement in. All right. And for the if, we're going to need a greater than. And if the length of the list, forget global notes. I think that was correct. So if the length of list get global notes is greater than 0, all right, then we want to set the global count to 1 and call playback note. Now, right now, if I click in the procedures, I can't call playback note because we haven't written it yet. So let's quickly just put that one in there. All right, so this will be playback note. B was capitalized in there, copy, okay. Okay, now that I've got that in there, I should be able to click here, call playback note. So now I can put that in here. All right, kind of a little kludge. You know, it's not really correct yet because we haven't written anything to it, but it's okay. It'll work just fine like this. All right, so all of this is done, so we're up to here. We want to set our sound source to select list item. this will have in it get global notes and get global count. Make sure I put those in the right order. Global notes, then global count. Good. Then we want to call sound1.play. All right, then we have an if-then statement in here. And it's if, we got a less than in here, if get global count is less than the length of the list of global notes, I'm going to duplicate this. Hopefully I'll be happy I did this and not upset that I did this, but if the get global count is less than the length of the list. I'll remove this for now. I'm going to put this here. So if the get global, we don't want it to be global notes, we want this to be global count. So if the get global count is less than the length of list lists, and now this has got to be get global notes right here. So we've already got that, so we can copy that here. All right, so if get global count is less than length of list get global notes, all right, then we want to set the global count to get global count plus 1. So in other words, we're going to increment it. Doing that. All right, and that was set global count to get global count plus 1. So this is get global count right here. All right, and then we want to make the recursive call. All right, that's a lot of code to go through, and we're already up there for our time. So let's quickly look and see what this says. This might be the first time you've seen a procedure that makes a call to itself. Again, it's recursion. And I'll tell you what, we'll do one more round of this, so to speak, and we'll come back and we'll go over exactly what's happening here in just a couple minutes.